sky blue days. These are sky blue days. The CBS and the SBA will fight to the end and lead the way. Sing out together. These are sky blue days. These are sky blue days. The CBS and the SBA will fight to the end and lead the way. Sing out together. Sky Blue Fans TV, for the fans, by the fans.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Sky Blue Fans TV. Not lots been going on off the field with our club in the last few weeks, so I'm pleased to say we'll be talking football tonight. Not talking about any of that stuff that's been going off the field. It's going to be purely a football show. So tonight we'll be previewing the game at Reading on Saturday at the 2:00 kickoff. We've got some more guests on tonight. We've got CJ Joyner coming back on for another edition of the show. We've got the snooker man, the Cod fan who sits in the front row, Mr. Brian Wright. Hope he'll be joining us as well. And Reading fan Ji Min Lee will be coming on as well around 8:15 to give us the Reading perspective on the game. Joining us as well, in addition, we've got our very own Mr. Miles Cadden. Evening, Miles. How you doing?
Good evening. Oh, well, thank you. I'm a little bit happier now.
It's been a bit of a quiet week, hasn't it? Really, nothing's been going on, is there? I mean,
it's been a bit boring, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just another week, just Coventry City being Coventry City, really, or things outside of Coventry City. But yeah, it's been an interesting week. But let's focus on the football side of things for this show. So we're back after a break of 3 weeks, Reading away. Obviously, he was out there in Spain last week, seeing the boys train, and what's your sort of impressions? How do the guys look?
Well, they all seem very happy. I've just seen a comment just come up actually, and I just put his mind at ease. Any updates on Fads? No, as far as I know, he's still in the crutches, but he can't play this weekend anyway, can he? So
he's suspended.
He's suspended just for the one game, but. Yeah, the boys were lovely. They were absolute legends out there. Everywhere we went, if we bumped into them, they stopped, spoke to us. We were walking down the street, and Tyler Walker was walking with him, and they both stopped, turned round just to talk to us as we were walking towards them. It was lovely. It was so nice, And they all seemed in good spirits. So they were happy, and they were just enjoying themselves, having a chilled out time, and two training sessions a day. So they had one in the morning, and then they went back in noon quite late. They were good. They were good. Mark Robbins was a little bit grumpy, but maybe because he probably heard what we heard on Monday morning. I don't know, but I don't know. They're in good spirits, and I think if anyone's worried about it, off the field matters. I think them players are just concentrating, lads. I really do. I think that they are going to go out there Saturday and they're just going to give it their all, because there's going to be 2,000 of us there, and they're going to want to perform in front of us and keep the run going.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, kind of a question here about the off-field matters. Do you think that might be a distraction for the guys, the players and staff, or not, in your opinion?
Nah, they're professional. They're fantastic. They really are. Them boys, they're just great. They're just brilliant. They really are just brilliant. They are absolutely. Those lads are going to give us 110% from now until the end of the season. There's something about them. They're really bonded. They're all sitting around. They're going coffee. They're down the cafe on the seafront. It was just lovely to see, And them boys, seriously, we ain't got nothing to worry about. They are ready to go. They really are ready to go.
Yeah, great stuff. I'm going to bring in some more guests. I've got CJ and Brian who are joining us here. CJ, Brian, how are you doing? You all right? Hey. Can you hear us all right? Oh, no. Bit of sound problem.
Sound's gone. We can see you.
Yeah, we can see you there.
Log out, log back in.
Yeah. Let me. Yeah. We'll carry on talking, Miles, and hopefully they'll get the sound working through.
Let me have a look there.
Yeah. I'll just take them off, just see if we can get the sounds working, maybe. I mean, this is a game really Saturday. I mean, looking at, Reading have been kind of in mixed form this season. If you look at their game, they've won 9, lost 10. So it's kind of a game where I think it's definitely a winnable game. I don't know about you. I think it's a game we can definitely get 3 points. And looking at the season, generally speaking, we're only 2 or 3 points off playoffs. It's just incredible, isn't it? How the form has turned around fantastically for us, 4 wins on the spin. But secondly, it's quite a tight league, isn't it? If you just get on a run like we have, you can really motor up the league. And I think it's another opportunity, where we can really get some points, on Saturday. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think it's going to be. Oh, look, they're ready. I think it's going to be a real tough game. I think it will be. I was just been on a podcast with a Reading fan, and he said they've had a few people out at the World Cup playing for their national team. So, they're going to be quite short on numbers, I think, especially to start the game. But I think they were waiting for the international break to get some players back fit. So it could be a real tough game. I think last season it was tough anyway, wasn't it? I mean, we came out 3-2 winners. So, it was a good game. So it's probably going to be the same sort of thing, and it's going to be entertaining probably end to end.
Yeah. I'm going to bring CJ and Brian. How you doing, guys? Can you hear us all right?
Hi, guys.
Hi. How are you? Right.
Yeah, good, thanks. So, first question I'll ask, are you more nervous about the COV game or the England game on Saturday?
Definitely the England game.
Definitely the England, yeah.
If
we win the World Cup, the whole country's going to be happy for years and years. If we win some of the Coventry's going to be happy. So it's a feel good factor, not just over Christmas, but for generations to come. Wait too long.
We'll talk England later on our show. Let's focus on Coventry. Feeling confident about the game against Reading? Do you think it's a winnable game for us?
Certainly, and as you've just said there, they've had some players at the World Cup, haven't they? Which is probably going to help them a little bit, in a way. Because in theory, a quarter of the starting 11, pretty much, are going to be match sharp. More match sharp than that should be, anyway. And I mean, as you know, Miles, we didn't play, did we, in Marbella? So so it's not an ideal situation for us. There's a lot going on off the pitch as well, isn't there? When I say there's a lot going on, there's actually not a lot going on, really, is there? There's no shot to man, or So, but I think it's going to be. I can see that being a good game. I really can. And if we can hit the ground running like we did before the break, it could be a real good one for us, I think.
I think that's the only thing I'm a bit worried about. I think a good point about match sharpness is, the only thing that's slightly concerning about the trip in Tenerife was just the no games. We did play, I think it was Olympiacos we were meant to play, and that got cancelled. And I mean, do you think that'll be a big frustration, Miles, for Robbins, that we didn't play any games out there and it was just warm weather training effectively?
I think it might have been, but I think that he was probably pleased in a way because we had too many injuries, and Victor wasn't there either because obviously he was away on international break for 2 weeks. So he had his 2 weeks holiday. So maybe it's probably done us a favour and got a few of the players that were injured coming back from injury. But then again, Fads goes and gets injured. And I've just heard, actually, I think it was this morning, that Tyler Walker's injured as well. But the likes of Kelly, he was absolutely buzzing. He couldn't wait. He's dying to get back out there and play football. So he's that close, he said. So he could be coming back Saturday as well. So we may have lost Fads, but as we say, he's got another week to rest because he's not playing.
Well, Liam Kay did make the bench for the QPR game, so you'd think he'll be at the very least on the bench. Casey Palmer, I've heard stories that he might be injured. What's the latest on Casey Palmer? Do you think he'll be fit for Saturday?
Well, if he's picked up an injury, it's been picked up back here because he was okay while we were out there. So that injury probably either late on while he was out there, or it was this week while he's been here. So I did see him on the pitch last week.
Yeah. In terms of starting 11, I mean, do you think it will be a similar 11 to the QPR game? And obviously, the only change, we spoke a minute ago about Fancy being suspended. I would imagine Michael Rose will probably slot in there. I don't think he was starting at QPR. Is it any other changes you'd make if you're Mark Robins?
No, I think if everyone's fit and ready to go, I'd stick with what we've got, and then the bench is obviously a little bit stronger, and go from there. I can't see him making many wholesale changes. He's got to make them fads one. I can see Ben Wilson still being in goal. So yeah, I can't see him changing it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I was going to bring CJ and Brian back in. Hang on. Try and mute. If you can unmute your mic, CJ and Brian. I can't seem to unmute it at the moment.
Frozen.
Yeah, I think they're frozen. Yeah, I think there's just a bit technical issues. Yeah, I just think, I mean, my opinion on the game is, I think we've got on paper, I'd say it's a really good chance. I think if we're playing Reading the week after QPR, I would say I really fancy it. I think my only slight concern as a fan is the lack of games to be played. But that's my concern. CJ, Brian, I think you're back. Can you hear us all right? Oh, might have a bad line here.
We can hear them. We can hear them.
Yeah. No, we'll
sign
bring
language.
him back. Yeah, we'll bring him back. We'll bring him back in a minute. I mean, are you concerned, Miles, by the lack of games? I mean, the point CJ was making was about the fact that obviously, like someone I think Hoylett was playing the World Cup for Canada. Do you think little things like that might give him a slight advantage, or not really? It's just the same level playing field.
I think the rest of the players have had's probably done them good, and they've been together a couple of weeks, and I think they'll just come back all guns blazing. To be honest with you, I don't think they're going to be worried about the off the field fiasco, because players get paid for doing their job, and the players are being paid. We've never, cross our fingers, we've never had that happen. We've had everything else happen, but the players have always been paid, and they've always gone out there and give us a performance.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but as a fan, I'm just really excited about this game. It's just nice to have live football back. It's just been such a long time. And I think even for the guys themselves, it's just getting back on the field and playing 90 minutes. It must be a great feeling. It's just a game. I think it's a game. As I say, I'm quite excited. I think we can definitely win because, we can come to this game with a lot of confidence. We've got all our sort of best players available. I don't know. It's all set up for a Reading win now. I'll say all that, but what Reading players do you think are you worried about from our point of view?
Just Paul Ince on the touchline.
Yeah,
he's very influential, isn't he?
Yeah.
No, I mean, to be honest, they've got a whole team of talent. I mean, they were winning the league at the beginning of the season. They were right up there, so you can't underestimate them. And as I was told earlier on, a lot of them got injured, so they're all coming back from injury. So I just think we've just got to go out there, do our best, and we can need team on the day. It doesn't matter who they got in. They could have Cristiano Ronaldo if they're in there if they wanted, and would still beat them because we are a team that are together. But I believe it's going to be really, really tough. I know you're quite confident, but I think it's going to be very, very tough. It's going to be hard, very hard.
Yeah. Well, let's bring in Ji-Min Lee, Reading fan. Evening, G. How you doing?
Not too bad. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, not bad. I think I'm just looking forward to seeing a football match for you on Saturday.
100%.
it's been such a long time. Although I've enjoyed the World Cup, in fairness, it's been a good watching that. Reading, I think we're on a tour in Tenerife, I think, over the last week or so. Reading the media reports, Ajaria, I think, has been disciplined by Paul Ince. I know he won't be featuring for the game on Saturday. What other potential team use do you know of for Reading ahead of the game?
Paul Ince had his press conference this afternoon, and pretty much all the defenders that we were hoping would be back by the end of the World Cup have not recovered, unfortunately. I think the only one that is sort of available now is McIntyre, and even then it's a 50-50. So as of now, we only have one established centre-back available for the game on Saturday. So it is a bit of a worry. Sarr, we're looking at Birmingham next week. Dan's going to play an under-23s game, and Moore's 3 or 4 weeks away. So, I was listening in to you guys chatting just before, and I think we were hoping that the World Cup would be kind of an opportunity to get everyone back. If anything, I think we actually have fewer players available after the World Cup than before. So it's a bit of a concern, to be honest.
Yeah. And looking at the season, I mean, Reading started off really well. And, you know, if you look at the overall picture, 9 wins, 10 defeats. How would you sum up the season from Reading? Has it just been too inconsistent, I guess, is what it looked to me, you know, looking at the results? Would that be what's performance has been like generally this season?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a complete, it's just what you said. It's been a complete mixed bag. I think the overriding sentiment is that if you'd offered us 13th place at this point in the season before the first game, I think most Reading fans would have bitten your hand off, just given the context of the transfer embargo, the EFL sanctions, and the fact that the core of the team was absolutely decimated over the summer. When you think about Reading over the past few years, you sort of think about John Swift, Josh Lauren, Andy Renamotta, Michael Morrison, and they all left. But in terms of the sort of season itself, you know, I think that at the risk of getting slammed for Americanizing things, you know, I'm going to call the first half of the season, the first quarter, because I think the first 11 games saw us pretty much live in the playoff spots, thanks to some really gutsy performances. We had a really memorable game at home to Blackburn where we pressed them off the park and we won 3-0. But I think we all knew that there was going to be a drop-off at some point, because littered amongst those wins, there were also some really big losses against Rotherham, Sheffield United and Sunderland. And then obviously in the second quarter, it was drastically different. I think we went on a run of 1 win in 9, which is pretty much relegation form. We played against a lot of the top sides. And I think it really shone a light on the fact that in the first quarter, we played against a lot of sides who were kind of either about to sack their manager or had just sacked their manager. And I don't want to take away from the efforts of the players, but I think that we did catch a few teams at the right time. It's been a bit of as you said, it's been a bit of an inconsistent season, littered with loads of injuries as well. But hopefully the game on Saturday will be good. Yeah.
Got a question here from Glenn, who's a part of our podcast, asking about which Reading players will be, you know, the main threat to us. Zhao and Carroll could be an aerial threat for Panzo, Dawn Rose to deal with in the absence of McFadden. Would you go along with that? Would you say Zhao will start along with Andy Carroll, or do you think one will start and one will be on the bench?
It's interesting because the defensive line has been the one that's been changing, and you know we've had so many injuries in the back line. In the kind of second quarter that I was referring to before, we've had the pick of the strikers. To be honest, we've got 5 strikers available. We've got Zhao, Carroll, Shane Long, Yaku Mete, and Tom Ince if required. And it's really been a sort of different pairing every single game. I think we've gone through 9 different strike partnerships this season, which is obviously a lot. I think that most Reading fans are calling for Shane Long to get more game time, just because of his work rate. When you think about Zhao and Carroll, you don't think of 2 strikers who are going to be, you know, pressing with that much intensity. And the times where we have gone with Zhao and Carroll, there is that tendency, and it's something that Ince has mentioned in press conferences with us, that, you know, we have that kind of temptation of going long too quickly. So rather than building up from the back, when you see Andy Carroll up there, there is that obvious temptation to just hoof the ball up and try and go for second balls. And I just think that that's not really worked out for us very well this year. So if you're asking me what I'd like to see, I think that I'd like to see one of those two, so either Carroll or Zhao, but then maybe Ince or Long or Mate with one of them.
Is Paul Ince under pressure, would you say, at the moment at Reading? Or what would be a good season for Reading? Is it, is the expectations playoffs, or it just sort of stay in the Championship, shall I say?
Nah, it's definitely to stay in the league. I think given the circumstances, it's definitely survival. When we were in the playoffs, I think amongst us journalists in the press conferences, there was sort of a running kind of joke that we'd ask him also, we're safe, Premier League next year. And it'd be like a rolling sequence of expletives that Paul Ince would give us, telling us to keep our feet on the ground. I think it's definitely to stay in the league. I think that, like I said before, if you'd given us 13th at this point, we'd have taken that at the beginning of the season. So yeah.
Question I got here from Skype saying about John Swift. Obviously, he's left. I mean, how big a loss was he going to West Brom this summer? Has he been badly missed by you guys?
I mean, massive. What he offers in terms of assists, or what he offered us in terms of assists and goals towards the end of his time at Reading, was massive. I mean, I think it's the one position that we've not been able to fill to any degree. I think we're pretty much playing without a John Swift, whereas in other departments, we're playing with a lesser version of the player that we had before, if that makes sense. I mean, his output was tremendous. Although I've heard that he's not really endeared himself to the West Brom fans, but he's been a big miss for us this year for sure. Yeah,
no, I think he scored goals, he creates goals. He's almost like the Callum O'Hare of Reading. Really, he made things happen. From your point of view, who do you worry about? Coventry wise, which players do you think? Oh, I hope he's not playing. Secretly.
I mean, if I could pick one player not to play on Saturday, I think it's got to be Gyökeres, surely. I mean, he's been in unbelievable form. And I think that, I think Paul Ince was talking about him as one of the top strikers in England, including the Premier League, in the build-up to this game, which I thought was very high praise. But no, he's been fantastic this year. And there are other players as well. I think having O'Hare there in the kind of supporting as well, Allen, and obviously Hamer. You've got a really good, you're giving him really good service. So, I think them lot, and especially, those two players, O'Hare and Allen, they work so well in that gap between the midfield and defence. And I think that's somewhere that we're often quite weak in as a side. So I think that's something that you guys could definitely exploit.
Yeah. Going to bring CJ and Brian back in. Guys, looking ahead to the game, what changes would you make in Mark Robbins? Or if any?
I'm happy to go with what we went with before. It was working. Obviously, there might be one or two injuries that have been picked up in the last month or so. That obviously needs addressing. So, the likelihood of it being bang on the same starting 11 is low, I suppose. But we were playing well, and there was no reason really to drop anybody, was there?
Yeah, we were the form team going into the. I'm not even going to call it an international break. I'm calling it to the World Cup. So, the more players really line up, come kick off that's finished or started the last game, then that's what I try and go for really, because like CJ said, it was working, and we're scoring bags of goals, weren't we?
Are you worried about the loss of McFadden for this game to suspension/injury? Do you think it's a big loss for us?
I think any of the middle three is a big loss, really, because we ain't got any cover there, have we? And really, you want to be playing throughout the whole season. Really, you want to be playing. You want to go with two players for each position, don't you? And it was fairly obvious we were going to go with three in the middle from very early on. So we haven't got a massive amount of cover there. We've only got effectively four centre halves. So when one of them gets injured, or one of them can't play because of bookings or whatever else, you're down to your bare bones. And then you're talking, possibly putting Dabo in at right back right centre back, or someone else maybe dropping Sheaf back. So you're removing somebody that's really, really, really effective in their own position to play somewhere else, which is never really what you want to be doing.
No.
So, yeah. It's not ideal, but the three that will play there are more than capable, and they should be able to do a job.
Yeah.
I've got one from Brian. I've got one from Brian. Brian, Dabo looked fit last week. Would you switch Dabo back and leave Eccles out, or would you put Dabo in and move Eccles into the middle?
I'd put Dabo in. He's not just effective; he's more than effective. You know, we look more attacking options in coming forward from fullback. So I'd definitely start him in his usual position, and then you know, as many players in their normal positions. You don't want round pegs in square holes, which he won't be then. So as many players in their natural positions as possible, and just hopefully hit the floor running straight after we win the World Cup.
Yeah.
Well, slightly before.
How did Dabo? So Dabo's back in training, Miles, last week.
Yeah, he's back in training. Yeah.
He looked sharp.
What I could see from a distance.
Yeah, for long distance. Yeah.
It wasn't like you on the ship over there in Qatar. Aye, Captain.
Oh, it's a bit choppy on here. You wouldn't like it.
You're both going the wrong way.
Yeah. Got to bring G back in. Just got a question here from one of our listeners or watchers. Paul Ince. Is he underrated as a manager? What do you think of him as a manager for Reading? Is he the right man for the job at the moment?
I think that varies based off of who you're speaking to. I noticed that one of the second tier pod ranked him as 19th out of the 24 managers in the division. I'm not sure. I think that one thing that he has done really well is that he's galvanized the team. And it's something I was going to mention before, because coming into this year, we obviously, like I mentioned, we had the embargo, and he's created this sort of us against the world sort of mentality. And it's really something that the players have bought into. And given the situation that you guys are in now, I think that, it can go one of two ways. It could, I know you guys were talking about it before, the situation with the stadium. It could either galvanize the players to, pull their weight and to keep performing the way that they have, or it could really distract them and it can work as a negative. So one thing that Paul has done is that he's really brought the team together. It might be because there have been so many injuries, but everyone knows that they're going to get a chance at some point. And so you don't see anyone sulking on the bench. You don't see anyone sort of kicking, who kind of not pulling their weight. And so, I think footballing wise, there are going to be better tacticians, but one thing that he has done is that he's really brought the team together. And I think that that's something that previous managers have not been able to do with this Reading team. So that's full credit to him.
I was thinking doing a Ronaldo there and he's going sulking. So
what's this? We've seen this story tonight about how do you say his name? Ovi Ajari.
Yeah, Ajario.
Yeah, Ajario. Sorry. What's happened there? Because he didn't go to Tenerife.
No, he didn't. That's the question that we're all wondering. Ince has been very keen to keep what actually happened in-house. But he said that whatever it was has been dealt with, and he's hoping that, we can move on. He didn't go to Tenerife, and obviously that punishment has extended through until this game on Saturday. I think Ajari has been under fire amongst the fans. I think that, it wouldn't be unfair for me to say. So it's not going to do him any favors when it comes to the kind of court of public opinion. I couldn't tell you what's happened there. He's been very keen to kind of keep that in-house.
And what sort of player is he?
He's very technically gifted. So you mentioned before, you asked that question about John Swift. I think the player that's kind of closest to him would be Ajaria. And even then, he's not that close of a player. It's very technical. He came from Liverpool with a lot of kind of expectations. The one thing I would say is that he's had to change his game a lot to fit into this Reading system. There's not really a space for that kind of luxury number 10 in our team. Every single player's got to be sort of box to box. And if you're not box to box, you've got to be the guy finishing. finishing the goals. And so, yeah, I think that he's had to change his game. And so in becoming kind of more defensively astute and tracking back, he's lost a lot of his flair, which makes him him. And so for an offensive midfielder, when you lose that sort of that je ne sais quoi, you know, you kind of lose a lot of your identity. So I think he's definitely been victim of that. I'd love to see him get like a proper second chance. He's been hampered by injuries this year. So yeah, I'd like to see him get a second chance. And I do think that there is a player there.
A question I've got here from Skype is saying about, from the games you've seen this season, which championship teams have impressed you the most?
That's a good question. I think Burnley have looked good. But, you know, it's been one of those weird seasons where you'll say that a team's look good, but then you can pick out a game where they've been absolutely battered, they were against Sheffield United. So it has been a weird season. I'd say Sheffield United because that's the hardest game that we've had. That's probably the only game that we've had where we've had like 0% chance of winning that from minute one. With that being said, I mean, you nabbed a cheeky little win over Sheffield United yourself. So, I mean, they are definitely beatable. So yeah, like I think them two have been kind of the standouts for me. Yeah,
absolutely. Another question on Paul Ince from our audience. TJ asked about could Paul Ince manage at Premier League? He has managed at a Premier League club. He managed at Blackburn right at the start of his career, if memory serves me right. Although he didn't do particularly well there. He was sacked after a short number of games. But do you think he could make a Premier League manager again and maybe even international level? Do you think that's a possibility or not?
I mean, international is an extremely broad arena, isn't it? I mean, there are lots of different countries in the world. So yeah, I think internationally, why not? But I get the sense that Paul Ince is not the type of person who'd take an international job. If he does take up a managerial role, he'd want to be that sort of week in, week out sort of guy. Premier League, it's a tricky one. You've got to be a top manager to manage in the Premier League, don't you? You can't just be a kind of run of the mill. And I'm not saying that he is. I think he's been fantastic for us. I'm not sure. I probably can't answer that question, but
no.
I'd love to see him take us to the Premier League. Let's just put it like that. Yeah.
Okay, let's go to predictions for this game. So we're going to go the away team. Ji-Ming, you're the home side. So what's your verdict for this game?
So before the press conference today, I predicted a 1-1, just because I think, first game back, like you guys were saying before, you just don't know what you're going to get. It's pretty much a beginning of the season type of game after a preseason. You don't know where people's fitnesses and sharpnesses are at. But after it, I think 2-1 you guys, to be honest, just because, we're not coming into it with enough defenders. Like we play with a back five and we've got one established centre-back fit. I'm not positive, but I'd like to see us win. But yeah, if I had to put money on it, I'd say 2-1 you guys.
Miles, what's your feeling on this game? You said it's been very tough. Will you back that with an away win, or what are you going to go for?
Well, early on in the week, I was quite confident, but then with everything that's going on off the field, I was started feeling a bit unconfident. But on the Reading pod earlier, I said we'd draw 1-1. But after hearing Joe here, I think I might go 3-1.
3-1. That's Coventry 3-1. I'm assuming there, Miles, not Reading.
Yeah, Cov. I'll go 3-1 for the crack. Why not?
Yeah. Right. I'm going to bring.
Now I know they've only got one defender.
Yeah.
It changes things, right?
Yeah.
You just hope Victor ain't playing for you.
Yeah. Going to bring in the other lads. Going to bring CJ and Brian in. What's your predictions ahead of this game on Saturday afternoon?
For me, I think it's going to be a tight one. I agree with what G said at the start there. I'd say 1-1.
Yeah, Brian, what were you going for?
It sounds like a thriller, doesn't it? I think it'll be a scrappy game and we'll nick it 1-0.
1-0, yeah.
The thing is, Mark, I say it sounds like a thriller. They're going to miss it because they're going to watch England.
Yeah, I know, but
forget England. You got to watch the Sky Blues, haven't you?
Watching the Sky Blues is like watching England, in its own way. But
Brazil.
I get more nervous about in Coventry than about England. I don't know what you think, G. You get more nervous about England or Reading.
It's a good question. I think it depends on the game. Like, I'm originally from South Korea, so I mean, this World Cup's been really thrilling for us at home. That Portugal game where we secured qualification literally in the last minute was mad. But yeah, England I've been quietly confident about this year. I don't know why. I think that the squad looks decent, and I was going to ask you guys: do you think that you'll be bringing down fewer fans because of the England game and the kickoff being moved?
I don't think so. I think we're about at least 2,000. I think. Yeah, wow. I'm one of those 2,000. I'm looking forward to it. But no, I think we'll bring a decent crowd because I think we've all missed football. It's good to have football back, and it's good to see people, isn't it? It's been a bit. And I know you could go to the non-league games, but this is real football for me. It's great. It's great to be back. And,
unless we might be too short because CJ and Brian might have bought their tickets to get their points. So we might be too short on 2,000 and took their tickets to Qatar. Have you done that, boys? Have you done that?
No.
You're not doing it to get your points?
No. What do points make?
Prizes.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to come here again for that. If invited, obviously.
I'm gonna. I haven't gone with my prediction for this game. I was going 1-1, but I think we'll win 2-1 now. So I'm used to sitting on the blooming fence, but I think for this one, I think we can win. I really do. The only thing I do worry about this game is the sharpness issue, the match sharpness, and getting fit. That's the only thing. But you can't underestimate any side in this division. If you're not on the game, then you're going to lose. So. But I'm going to back us. I think 2-1 we're going to win this game, but we'll see what happens. So, guys, we're going to take a short break. If you want to stay on, Ji-Ming, by all means stay on. We're going to talk England next. So if you want to stay on, if you want to come off, then come off. It's not a problem. We're going to take a short break. We're going to talk England with CJ and Brian about the Qatar experience and the France game and everything else. So. Everyone stay tuned for that, and we'll be back with you shortly. We're just going to bring some messages. Welcome back, everyone. This is part 2 of the show, as we will be previewing the quarter-final match against France at I can't remember which stadium is in Qatar. But guys, CJ, Brian, I mean, this is what's the sort of general feeling amongst England fans for this game? Excitement, nervousness, tension? What's the feeling?
Excitement, I would say.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a tough game. They've got that one special player, which is what we've been saying all along, hasn't it? They've got Mbappe. They've got some other good players as well, but they've got Mbappe who can literally, they could have a stinker and have 4 men sent off, and like Lloris could let in 5 goals, but Mbappe has got the ability to go out and score 6, 7 on his own. You know, he really has, and I think I wouldn't mind going back to a 5, so we can play Walker more central.
Yeah.
So you can use his abilities a bit more. That means put Trippier back in the team, but obviously we're going to lose some of the stuff up front. Well, some of what we've got up front. You know, we're going to lose that. We're only going to have those two wide players out in the middle behind Kane, which might be counterproductive in the grand scheme of things. So we'll see.
Me, I'm excited as well, but I'm also confident. Of course, we've got to deal with Mbappe, but they've got other players like Drew, their top all-time goal scorer, Griezmann. You know, we can't only look at Mbappe. And where I differ slightly from CJ, if you play Walker in the back 3, and then Mbappe's already gone past Trippier, he's running past towards Walker, and Walker's got a standing start. Mbappe's already running the pace. So I would personally keep it as a 4, and then hope with the likes of Rice, Bellingham and Henderson would help protect, and then try and let them worry about our front 3.
It's not just a front 3, is it?
Yeah.
Like what Rio Ferdinand said the other day. He put a lot of bang on. Was it yesterday? Where he said a lot of like the media and a lot of England fans online and whatever seems to be saying, "Oh, we're worried about Mbappe," like I just did there. But how many of the French are saying, "I'm worried about Bellingham. I'm worried about Rice. I'm worried about Kane. I'm worried about Saka. I'm worried about Foden."
Yeah, Rashford if he comes out.
Rashford.
Grealish.
Grealish. You've got so many. Maddison. You've got so many. Wilson.
Yeah.
You've got so many good players there, and the way out. Henderson's one of the players of the tournament so far, and you look at him, and he wasn't even a guaranteed starter not so long ago, but now he has to start, doesn't he? So there's a lot of quality there, and they will probably be as worried as what we are in the grand scheme of things.
I heard something the other day that the key to beating France is maybe the midfield. So both teams, like ourselves and France, like to play it through the middle to get it out wide to Mbappe or to get it up to Griezmann, things like that. So I think maybe the key this game is to try and fill it out in the middle. Like you said, Brian, about Walker, if he's inside, he'll have a standing start against Mbappe, where if he's out wide, he'll be already running. So it's like if you think about it, when Cov plays, sometimes you look at teams that we play and you say, right, like against Fulham last season, we won those games from the midfield. We won it from the creativity in the middle. And I think, like you said about they're worried about Bellingham. I think everyone should be worried about Bellingham because his performance in the middle has just been rock solid, absolutely solid. And you know, I think if we can freeze that out in the middle, I think Mbappe will be isolated. He'll have to come back and try and take the ball on his own. Then he'll start getting frustrated.
Yeah. Definitely.
Which players has impressed you the most out in Qatar from the games you've seen? I mean, for me, I'd say Bellingham. I think he's been absolutely fantastic. But any other player, would you say?
Maguire, I'd say.
Maguire. Stones as well.
Yeah.
And listen, Henderson, when we talk about pace, I mean, Stones ain't slow.
No.
To be fair. So I suppose maybe that 4 would work. So, and like you said, with regards to Walker, without the standing start, but it's Kane really has impressed me. I know he's only scored 1 goal, but what's it, 4 assists, 5 assists?
Yeah, brilliant.
He is so important.
I would be too disappointed if we were level 70 minutes, a bit like against Germany in the Euros last summer, you know, and then we bring our finishers on. Like, Rashford and Grealish. You know, I wouldn't be too disappointed.
Yeah. As I said on the last time and the time before that, what Brian says there were finishers. I look at it very much like the dearly departed Eddie Jones looked at things before things went wrong, where he called them finishers. They're as important as the starting lineup. Grealish coming on with 20 minutes to go, he'll be, he could be licking his lips at looking at some of those, French tired legs, and that's why I wouldn't start him, because he's just so effective.
And you can see the whole squad they're just having such a good time. Yes, they're professional, but you actually see them enjoying themselves. Where you couldn't say that of like Capello's era or Sven's era. We actually look like a team. And everyone's behind everyone.
Cohesive unit.
It's like a bit like Cov City, the units there. They're gelling, they're clicking, and they're starting to click. They're clicking at the right time, because you came on before the World Cup after the defeat against Hungary. If you remember, CJ, you came on and you said how fans were getting on the back of Southgate. Everyone has a bad game. And I think Dave was on with us, and you're all saying that every team has a bad period. It looks like England's had their bad period, and all of a sudden they've come out to Qatar, and it's clicked, just clicked.
Yeah. Last summer when we chucked in that stinker against Scotland, we've chucked one in against the US, haven't we? So hopefully got that out of our system, and then they all turn up and we do a job on them.
And ultimately, we're one of the last 8.
Yeah.
Which,
by the time we play, we'll be the last 5.
Yeah. So, it's not. I think, and if we were to lose, we lose Saturday. France are the world champions.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, sometimes you come up against a team that's better than you on the day. They've got 1 or 2 special players, and they beat you on the day. And if that happens, so be it. It's a quarter final, and we've got to the stage now where we just think we've got to look at the bigger picture and think we are still building something.
Got to play for the next 2-3 tournaments.
Yeah,
age-wise.
And at the end of the day, we could have ended up. If things may have gone slightly different in the groups, and we could have ended up playing France in the final. They could have ended up on the other side of the draw.
Yeah.
If Denmark had turned up a bit more, maybe. During that group, they could have done something. France could have even dropped out.
I just want them to leave everything out there.
Yeah.
Come off that pitch with no regrets.
Yeah.
Give it your all. Give it your best. And let's hope that's good enough.
And if it isn't good enough on that day, it's not good enough. At the end of the day, we've lost a quality team. Yeah.
Well, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that won't happen.
Yeah. I mean, what's the atmosphere been like since Morocco beat Spain?
I've not seen any Spaniards.
I've hardly seen any Spaniards at all.
They've gone home.
And I went to watch them play, and there weren't that many of them. Moroccans, there are so many Moroccans out here.
Yeah.
The FIFA and the Qatar.
The Dutch have only got 1,000 here, the sports group said, which is unlike the Orange Army. So I just wish, if back home it was portrayed a little bit different, we would have the 10,000-20,000 fans that we have when we go to other tournaments. Yeah. So, it put them off going to Moscow, and then, by then they're all scrambling for tickets and it's too late. The same will be with this now. Once we beat the French, people will be trying to get out here for the semi-final. They've just left it too late to get on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
I love the positivity from Brian Ida. When we beat the French.
They don't like it up them.
I can't wait to get home from the game Saturday now. Brian's giving me confidence.
got a question here from one of our audience members, Sky, saying about what's France weak links? Do you think? When do you think England could target France on Saturday? Do you think they're back three? They're back at the defence?
Yeah. Not the quickest, and he's been an excellent servant and a World Cup winning captain and he's been an excellent servant to Spurs, but he's just, Lloris isn't what he once was. He'll go and pull in a blinder now, but he isn't what he once was, and he's certainly beatable.
As long as he chucks one in like he did in the last final.
Yeah. You just always think he's got a mistake in him.
Yeah.
Always, and it's not like a little where Pickford, you think, he's got a mistake in him, where, you know, he might do a little bit too much with his feet, because he's so good with his feet. So every so often, same as Alisson and Edison, they're the same. Every so often, if they make a mistake, generally it's with their feet, because they just use their feet so much, and every so often they're going to lose the ball like any other player would with that amount of time.
If you lose the keeper, you tend to lose the goal.
Yeah, but Lloris, he's more likely, I think, to have the ball go straight through him than to cause a problem with his feet or anything else, or drop a cross or do something. So I'll say that's where the weak link is.
I think with Pickford though, I mean, you're looking back at the Senegal game. He made one really, really important save in that game. It was 0-0, and Senegal had a really good spell in that first half. And although people look, people look back at the game and say, well, that's a comfortable win for England, but that save, you know, that goes 1-0. It's a different game because England potentially 1-0 down at half time, and it could be a really, really tough second half. So I think Pickford for me deserves a lot of praise as well in this World Cup. I think he's done pretty well from what I've seen of him.
Yeah.
Brian, there's a question here for you. Can we have an exclusive before BBC CWR tomorrow? CJ, your mum's asked, Brian, have you found the French person for CWR?
That's my grandma, Miles.
It's your mum.
You
said it was your mum. You said it was your mum. Oh, is it? Okay. No, it's not. It's your mum. Shut up.
This is just between us now.
Yeah, between us. Have we got an exclusive?
It dropped below 30 today, and they've had the gritters out here. Seriously, all the staff have got coats on and woolly hats on. It's 29 degrees.
22 degrees.
22 now, yeah.
It was -4 this morning, mate.
It is 25 past 11 at night.
Oh, well, you know.
No, have you got a French person for tomorrow on BBC CWR?
Can't find one.
No, seriously. No, the only ones we did see, when the captain put the flags up, they all ran off the ship. They don't like white flags, apparently.
Yeah, they ran away. Yeah.
CJ, you could pretend to be French.
The red and the blue bit on a French flag, apparently it's Velcro, isn't it? Yeah. You take it off.
There's no French people on board. It's very straight, very eerie. Just a few Brazilians, a few Argentinians, loads of Moroccans, and then us.
Yeah. And what's the Titanic like?
One random Scotland flag up there that I keep trying to untie, but they must still be aboard because someone keeps tying it back up.
And what's the Titanic like?
Well,
we ain't sank it.
It's painted sky blue, so it's not going to sink.
The one next door is massive, isn't it? The Europa is like twice the size of it.
It's like Aaron Maguire's head.
It's huge.
Well, his wife's on there.
How does that float?
Yeah, I don't know how it stays above water.
And it's got the world's biggest water slide.
Has it?
So it goes from the top all the way down to the bottom of the ship, this water slide.
And the amount of times I waited at the bottom for them wags to come down, but they didn't come down once.
Are you allowed on it?
You can join any boat.
€50,
it's not €50 a day. But
you could come on here for €50 if you get a flight out.
No. It'd be warmer than here anyway.
Sweet Caroline's just come on the...
Show us then. Show us.
Shall we walk?
Yeah, should come on then.
Go have a quick walk, go on.
Yeah, just it up, yeah.
Oh, looks just like the Titanic.
Does a bit better than Titanic.
Oh wow, look at that.
That's very impressive.
So that's the one pool, and then you've got a couple of jacuzzis there.
What?
You'd look great in there, Miles.
Oh yeah.
And then you got the... Well, this is where you'd find Miles most of the time. Look, that's the bar.
Yeah, that'd be it. They sell Sky Blue Army in there. Oh, here we go.
Sweet Caroline's been played on.
going to get done for copyright now. Oh, it's the remix version.
So the big screen,
Yeah.
that's where they play the games. So they show the games on that big screen, and you can sit in the pool. You know, the pool's full of people watching the games.
Brilliant.
4 games a day, 2 in the pool.
Yeah, and obviously it was a lot better during the group stage before we got here, but it was, you know, it was good at that point apparently, where it was just like you could just imagine it with the amount of people that were on here.
There were loads of Mexicans on it.
Yeah.
Were there?
Yeah, you wouldn't want to sit behind them though with them big hats. So.
But the
So now
Mexicans
it's
always
down to
turn
the-
up the tournaments.
So now it's down to the last quarterfinals. Is there less people around now then? Have they all gone?
Loads less.
Yeah, it's like a ghost ship.
Really?
The apartment we had was like a that apartment complex that we were in on until Monday was like a ghost town when we left.
And this is only half full, isn't it?
Yeah, well, this is fully booked, but there's probably 1,200 people on it rather than 3,000. People have just left and
Just gone home.
they've gone home.
I had a friend that went home 10 days early with his
Really?
Senegal ticket. Yeah, he took his ticket with him.
Why?
Strange.
Because when he said it was rubbish out here, not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
No.
If you're expecting like a World Cup like in Europe, and you come with the wrong
Yeah.
idea, haven't you? You've got to embrace it.
It is different. It's better in a way. Like last minute, we were able to go to, you know, Ghana, South Korea. Me and Dan went to that, and it's a shame G's gone actually, because I was going to talk to him about that game. But
Yeah.
And then literally
2 games a day. didn't you?
yeah,
3 at push.
2 hours before kickoff, we got a ticket for Belgium, Morocco.
Well,
No, 4 hours. An hour before the gates opened, we got a ticket for it.
We're all Moroccan, aren't we?
Yeah. But
How much?
yeah,
We're all Moroccan.
there's tens of thousands of Moroccans here.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
how much tickets for the games? Like
Yeah.
for the France game? How much
Now
is
they're
it?
starting to get a bit more now. I can't remember what we paid, but it's something like about 800 reals, I think, for a ticket now.
About 200
I think.
quid, wasn't it?
Yeah,
About 200.
less than 200 quid,
Yeah.
yeah, probably 170 odd.
And then obviously
Quarter
jumps,
final,
like
jumps up
semis is like
Yeah.
400 quid,
Yeah.
isn't it? And final's stupid.
500, I think.
But final, you could get what you want for it.
Yeah,
Because it
yeah.
was England in the World Cup final, just
Yeah.
possibly against Brazil or Argentina. Wow.
The group stage, you get tickets 50 quid a game.
Yeah, that's not bad.
But
That's good, isn't it?
the Senegal game, I think it was 80 quid face value. But the tickets were going for around about that price on the resale sites the morning of the game.
Yeah.
And there's
yeah.
hundreds of them. There's hundreds of tickets. But there always is for the second round, because how many different countries could play in that game, and they've gone home
Yeah.
from the 2 groups. There's 4 teams that have gone home anyway, and
Yeah.
there's two of those 8. Well, 2 of the remaining 4 aren't playing in that game. They're playing in the other side of the draw.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that would have bought tickets and they've just put back on the resale portals.
Wow.
And so it's always the same. Always the same.
Yeah.
But
Sounds great,
it's
though,
a
doesn't
shame.
it?
To be honest with you, it's a shame that we couldn't show you the rest of the boat, because there's a nightclub on here. There's all sorts on here.
Golf course, mini
There's
golf.
a golf course on the roof.
Oh, yeah,
Basketball,
Brian, you said that the other day. There's a golf course on there.
Shuffleboard.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And you know what? Do you know what, Miles? I was actually in the nightclub the other day, and
It's
there was a
magnets.
bit of a problem. I couldn't find the way to the bar. I couldn't see where the bar was, and I thought, do you know what they need? They need a sign that lights up.
Yeah.
That lights up to
Oh,
go to
is
the
it-
bar.
Neon.
What, one of them?
Where did you get them
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
I got that. I'll tell you what, you ain't going to believe where I got that neon sign from. I got it from neonnow.co.uk.
Neon Now.
Neon
That's where
Now.
I'll go.
Yeah.
That's
and
where
then
we need
that's
to
where
go.
you got to
Yeah.
go. So it's
I'll let the captain know.
neonnow.co.uk and use our special code SBFTV10 for a discount.
And the captain might be a COF fan, and he can use that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Look at that. Look. Brilliant.
Some of the
There you
lights
go.
on the side of his boat, to be fair. They could
Yeah, you could use them.
MSC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might be able to miss some icebergs then.
Yeah. You wouldn't have any icebergs here. But
Hey, I've heard on good authority they're going for the Winter Olympics. They're going to import snow.
And they're going to get it, probably.
They'll get it.
They will do a
They'll
FIFA
probably
run.
share it with Saudi, won't they?
You do know it's Christmas. You do know it's Christmas and not April 1st, don't you?
Yeah.
Saudis are like, they're spitting feathers because they were hoping Qatar would like come hat in hand and ask, will you help us with this World Cup because it's too big just for one small nation.
Yeah.
But because he didn't come and offer for help at the start, now Qatar just laugh at them like, we don't need your help.
It's because of that blockade.
Yeah.
Where it was so difficult to even get here. Where it's taking like a 6.5-hour flight was taking, 8-9 hours because they were having to go over different countries' airspace to get here. And Saudi was one which was an issue. Iran, I think, was one of the only countries friendly to them. So, but yeah, it's I've got to give it to them. Really, they've got 99% of it bang on. The 1% though, some of it's a bit laughable. The stuff that they haven't got right in terms of organisation, but the 99% they've got it bang on. And I mean, to be fair, they've had 220 billion to spend and 12 years to do it. Yeah. So they should have got it right. Really,
still bits and pieces.
Yeah, there's still bits and pieces that they're still going to finish. 3 days after the final, but it's They've got to give it to them. They've done a lot better than what most would have thought. 99% of people would have thought.
Yeah.
What's the atmosphere like generally? Is it quite like peaceful? There's no violence or anything like that. It's just a good laugh.
Literally, the only bit of the only issues we've actually seen. I mentioned it on the pod before. We saw it ourselves. Well, we saw it ourselves on our mate's phone. He's not on social media, so he didn't put it out. It was a Ghana-South Korea game where the Ghanaians rushed the gates.
Right.
There was another game where there was about maybe a couple of hundred of Ghanaians again that just rushed the gates, and they managed to get in. And I think it was just a case of there's no chance of stopping them. There's thousands of empty seats in there. If people have bought tickets and not turned up or whatever, we'll just let them in. And they just let them in. That's the only bit of unrest we've actually seen or even heard of. I haven't seen a single issue. There was a rumour going around that apparently some English lads were singing about a waitress's face veil, but we haven't seen a single waitress wear a veil.
No. Or any footage of them singing the song to the waitress.
They just don't. Generally, it's not the locals that are wearing, the local women that are wearing them. It's the visitors to here that are from the surrounding countries. But they are actually a lot more liberal than we were expecting with regards to the dress code. And the other thing on that as well, me and Hannah, my wife, were talking the other day, and we both said that we think that there's no way that they could even kind of fake it, so to speak. They can't just all of a sudden stop doing it for the tournament, relax everything just for the tournament. I think just generally it is just the same as the drinking side of things and stuff like that. I think generally they are just quite relaxed anyway. Not as relaxed as what we are at home and what you might be in continental Europe and the States and so on, Australia, Japan and stuff. But here, I do genuinely think it's a lot more relaxed than what most were suggesting, just generally. I think we've spoken to more than enough people out here that are Western. We're speaking to a Canadian and an American in the Cheesecake Factory yesterday, and they said literally nothing's changed. Nothing's changed now. There's just more people here. And everything's a little bit more expensive than it is normally. Slightly.
I had tickets to see Bob Marley's son perform tonight. I'll give that up to be on your show.
Oh, cheers, mate.
No, we're blessed.
Dan was
We're honoured.
watching Robbie Williams tonight.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
yeah,
he'd
you
be on
said
here
it.
as well.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
on the
yes, I've seen it. Yeah.
Was it you that went to watch Fat
Oh,
Boys? Yeah.
we went to see Fat Boy Slim the other night. And
Oh no, that was Slim Boy Fat. You said, weren't it?
Yeah, it was a tribute act. It was just, we staged it. It was even funnier than seeing the real thing. So, why not? Why wouldn't you? It's really good stop laughing. I felt like I've done about 800 silks because I was laughing at that, but I'm never ever going to do.
Hey, CJ, you got me my fridge magnet yet?
No, I need to get you one.
I'm knocking some out. What are you looking for?
Fridge magnet.
Yeah, what do you want on it though? Blackpool?
No, World Cup.
World Cup.
Well,
I'll do what I can to try and get you
See
something.
what we can do.
I think if England win the World Cup, I'd expect a fridge magnet of England player lifting the World Cup. That's the fridge magnet I want personally.
We'll just bring it home for Christmas, won't we?
Yeah.
That's it.
Right,
That's it.
I've got to ask a very important question to everyone now.
Go on, then.
Score prediction for this game. So, going to go with CJ Bryan. Is it coming home? Is the question, I guess, is on my lips.
It's coming home is a feeling, isn't it? I mean, that song was about. Sorry to get sidetracked. It was about the hope and the hopelessness. So, 2018, it came home. You know, you look at people jumping up and down on bus stops.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That it came home, didn't it? And the same goes for last year as well. And this year, if we beat France and we go out in the semis or whatever, or we lose in the final or whatever, you know, it's come home regardless, isn't it? But with regards to the score on Saturday, I think that first goal is so important. I think whoever scored, I think it's going to finish 2-0, and it could literally go either way.
The second goal on like a breakaway.
The second goal on, you know, when the other team are pressing and trying to get the first goal, their first goal to get the equaliser, that's when the other team will score. And I can see it being 2-0. I'm going to say we'll win 2-0.
Yeah.
But like I said, I could see it easily going the other way.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for a long and comfortable night for everybody, which is no strange thing watching England really, but 2-1 after extra time, England.
Miles, what are you going for?
Well, I mean, Glenn put a comment up here. Winner on Saturday will win the World Cup, he thinks. So, yeah, you're only going to meet them in the final, aren't you? But
winning for Pele, yeah.
I listen. I just, like Brian said, you want to see a team go out there and give it their all, like we've seen with Cov City this season. We had all the fiasco with the pitch, and they've went to Luton in the second half, drilled it out, and since that game they've gone on a fantastic run. I want to see England do just an amazing performance, give it their 110%. I think it'd be 1-1 after full time. Maddison will come on in the 5 minutes to go in extra time and score a free kick and win it 2-1.
It's probably to say Callum Wilson, maybe. He might have popped on something.
Nah, free kick, Beckham style, bump.
Yeah.
Rashford smash it.
I'm gonna sit on the fence for the first 90, but I think England will win extra time. I'm going 2-1 as well. I think it'll be tight. I get where CJ's saying about the 2-0, because I think the first goal is so important because it gives you that bit of control. But when I look at England games against sort of really good sides like in the Euro final against the Italians, where we took the lead, we were 1-0 up, got to half time, and second half we kind of sat on it, and that's the many slight fears. We do take the lead. Is we've got to be positive. You know, the best way is to defend to attack. So I think we've got a really good side. We're really good form. I mean, the only dilemma I'm thinking is, does Rashford start ahead of Saka? That's another one, because I think they've both had good World Cups from what I've seen, and that's been an interesting decision to see what way Gareth Southgate goes with that one as well. But I think we've got enough to beat France, to be honest. I mean, yes, they've got quality players they've all spoke about, but we've got really good players as well. And I think England, I don't think we've seen the best of England yet. I'm hoping they're going to save their best for Saturday. So I'm optimistic about this game. I really am.
I think as well, lads. I don't know what you think about this, but we haven't had to come from behind yet. France have. So,
but then France have lost a game.
Yeah, but we could. Yeah, so we could hold that, and we could just go on and just nick it. To be honest with you, because
I was at that game where they went 1-0 down to Australia.
Yeah,
and they didn't change the game plan at all. They just didn't. I think. Do you know what I think did it for them as well? It's the unfortunate injury.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
One Hernandez for the other, and that changed things. I suppose. Yeah. Really, that was the only major change really they made. They just changed the personnel, and it was just a bit of bad luck that created a bit of good luck, and they went to town on them in the end. They won 4-1, but I think you could see from that goal for Australia, they didn't change France's game plan really. They had them on the ropes a bit before the goal, and they just still went at them a little bit. Similar, to be honest with you, similar to what Southgate's done in some qualifiers where we've gone 1-0 down to Montenegro, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then was it Kosovo as well?
Yeah.
And we've managed. Didn't change the game plan.
No,
look, I wanted you to go out and win 2-0 today. You've got 1-0 down. You have to go and put 4 or 5 past this block now.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what maybe France possibly another night would have won that game 2-0. But once they got that second and third goal, they then relaxed a bit, could knock it about. Australia looked a bit more beaten and they went for it. But but like I said, to actually get the game back on level pegging, they didn't really change their game plan. So,
well, there's a comment here, Mark. I've got to put this one up. I think it's fantastic.
England, be great, wouldn't it?
It would be good, yeah. That would be brilliant.
We don't want penalties. No, let's have a penalty. Let's have a penalty in the 89th minute that you can score.
Penalty tournament 3. You don't want penalties. No.
We don't want penalties.
I do fancy.
I'd happily have 15 penalties in the game, as long as none of them are in the shit.
I thought you were going to say you'd happily take the 5th penalty.
No, I'm going to say
and nobody wants that.
No. I'm confident for Cov England double on Saturday. I'm definitely feeling it. I'm hoping that my dreams will come true in that regard. So yeah, I'm fancying it.
There'll be a lot of doubles at the bookies. Now the championship's back and there's that extra 12 games.
Common England to win.
Promoted and your club and England to win. There'll be a lot of that, I think, at the bookies. There'll be a lot of specials.
Yeah. Well, it's been great having you on tonight. It's been really, really enjoyable having you on, and fingers crossed we'll win. And Cov England double is what we want. So it's been tremendous having you on, CJ and Brian. Thanks for coming on tonight. It's coming home. I think we're all feeling it. So I feel it's coming home anyway. So come on, England. Let's do it. Let's do it for king and country.
And as we said earlier, Miles, if we go out on Saturday, we go out fighting. That's fine. Yeah. Well, it's not fine. We want to see us get all the way through. If we do win on Saturday, then we're here last weekend again, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely you are.
We're there that last weekend.
Get you back on.
Yeah. Hey, listen. We'll be tuning in tomorrow on CWR, so give us a shout out, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, now.
We'll try, yeah.
Make sure you do. Thanks, guys, for coming on. Miles, thanks again as always for your contribution tonight. It's been a really good show. Competition, yeah, go on. Last one.
So quickly, competition. Enter online. Where's it gone? It's gone now. Oh yeah. Who? Here it comes. Are you ready, guys? It's coming through the screen somewhere. Who was the last ex-Coventry City goalkeeper to play for England? Email skybluefanstv@gmail.com. The closing date is the 11th of December, and you can win a tour around Dillon's Brewery, for 2. I've got the voucher all ready to send across to whoever wins. The closing date is this Sunday, 7 p.m. So, who was the last ex-Coventry City goalkeeper to play for England? Email skybluefanstv@gmail.com. And don't forget, the closing date is 7 p.m. on the 11th of December. Good luck, everyone. It's a tour around Dillon's Brewery for Christmas. Get drunk.
Yeah.
Quick, let's
Great
find
price.
that. I thought it was tickets for the final and all expenses paid.
Unfortunately, our budget's
You have
didn't
to
quite
knock
stretch
up
that
some more
far.
bird boxes, Niles.
Yeah, that's it. Or
Yeah,
fridge
right.
magnets.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thanks everyone for tonight. It's been a great show. Really enjoy having you on, and hopefully, when England win, we'll get you back on and we'll talk more England stuff. Fingers crossed. So, thanks, guys. Thanks, Miles, for coming on as always. Thanks for your contribution.
No
and
problem.
we've got another show Sunday. Hopefully, we'll be talking about Coventry and England double. And then the week after, we've got the Swansea preview. So stay tuned for that. That'll be on Thursday, 7:30.
Another win against the Welsh.
So yeah, we've got to beat them, and we've got Rex as well the next month. So
They don't like it up them either.
yeah.
I keep saying, watch out, Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
Excellent. All right.
Thanks, guys. Cheers. Clap Sky Blues, and we'll speak to you next week. Take care. Good night.
Cheers.